It was May 17, 1944, over the India-Burma border. The monsoon season was approaching, and the Allied forces had only a few precious days of good weather left to conduct operations. For P-40 Warhawk fighter bombers from the 89th Fighter Squadron, known as the legendary Burma Banshees, took to the skies that morning. Their mission was straightforward but dangerous: provide close air support to Allied ground troops locked in brutal combat with the Japanese army. Lieutenant Philip Adair led the four-plane flight as they crossed into enemy territory, their aircraft loaded with bombs destined for Japanese positions. The bombing run had just begun when the situation turned catastrophic. At least 15 Japanese Japanese Ki-43 Hayabusa fighters, code-named Oscar by the Allies, dove out of the clouds. The Hayabusa, whose name translates to peregrine falcon, was fast, maneuvering, and deadly in the hands of experienced Japanese pilots. The sky erupted into chaos. Within moments, Lieutenant Adair lost visual contact with all three of his wingmen. Tracers streaked through the air in all directions as the outnumbered Americans fought desperately for survival. Adair found himself in a nightmare scenario, alone, deep in enemy territory, with multiple Japanese fighters converging on his position. Several Hayabusas maneuvered to get on his six, directly behind him, the killing position every fighter pilot dreaded. The P-40 wasn't the fastest aircraft in the sky, and it couldn't outturn the lighter, more agile Japanese fighters. But Adair was an experienced combat pilot who knew his aircraft's strengths. The P-40 was rugged, heavily armed, and could dive faster than almost anything the Japanese had. For the next several minutes, Adair fought for his life. He threw his Warhawk into violent maneuvers, diving, turning, using every ounce of his skill to keep the enemy from getting a clean shot. His .50 caliber machine guns barked whenever a target presented itself, but the Japanese kept coming. 5 Hayabusas formed a deadly pursuit, hunting Adair through the skies over Burma. They worked as a team, trying to herd him into a position where one of them could deliver the fatal burst of gunfire. Adair's fuel gauge was dropping, his ammunition running low, and his aircraft had taken hits. But the young American refused to go down. He used clouds for cover when he could, dove toward the deck when necessary, and fought with everything he had. The Japanese pilots were skilled and aggressive, but Adair matched them with determination and cunning. Just when the situation seemed hopeless, another P-40 appeared on the horizon. It was Lieutenant O'Connor, one of Adair's wingmen, who had fought his way through the Japanese fighters to rejoin his commander. The two Americans now fought together, their combined firepower evening the odds slightly. O'Connor's arrival gave Adair precious moments to assess his situation and plan their escape. The Japanese fighters, perhaps surprised by the sudden change in dynamics, broke off momentarily to regroup. The two P-40s made a desperate dash for Allied lines. The Japanese pursued, but the Americans' combined defensive maneuvers and accurate gunfire kept them at bay. Both pilots nursed their battle-damaged aircraft back toward friendly territory, with Japanese fighters snapping at their heels. As for Lieutenant O'Connor's ultimate fate that day and whether all 4 pilots made it home, the chaos of air combat over Burma meant that survival often came down to skill, luck, and the unbreakable bonds between wingmen. The Burma Banshees earned their fearsome reputation through missions exactly like this one: outnumbered, outmaneuvered, but never outfought. Lieutenant Philip Adair's incredible survival against overwhelming odds became another chapter in the squadron's legendary history. The P-40 Warhawk, often overshadowed by more glamorous fighters, proved once again that in the hands of a skilled and determined pilot, it could hold its own against any opponent in the sky. This story is based on personal interviews with Lieutenant Philip Adair and historical records from the Burma Banshees Squadron. It stands as a testament to the courage of the fighter pilots who flew and fought in one of World War II's most challenging theaters of operation.